No, stop pressing that button. We need to go ask Mr. Dennis about the lock on the jewel case. After we wrap up here, let's go ask him. How do you first go, Tim? Oh, Mr. Dennis. Sorry, I couldn't stand just waiting around and have you discovered anything. It does appear that the culprit used the storage room key to get entry. We believe that they then cut open the jewel case and took the Aurora drop. Is that so? I suppose this doesn't help Barnes much, but since he has access to the key. I have a question for you, Mr. Dennis. Who has the key to the jewel case? I have it right here. I always carried the key to the jewel case on my person. I've known Barnes for a very long time, but I still won't give him this key. Okay, so no one else has the key. That makes things very difficult to make sure that he's not the culprit, because to prove that he's not the culprit, because the security of the jewel case is my personal responsibility. Got it. So both Barnes and Dennis can access the key to the jewel storage room, but only Mr. Dennis can have access to the key to the jewel case itself. That's valuable information, Mr. Dennis. Thank you. Really, I thought I might be getting in the way, but I'm glad to hear I could help. The Aurora drop is meant to become a symbol of revival for Rhyme City. Anyway, I'm counting on you, Tim. A symbol of revival? Let's ask Dennis about that later. Next page. The thief cut open the case to steal the jewel, but they had the key to get into the storage room. The only people who have access to the key are Dennis and Barnes, so it makes sense the police would suspect Barnes. If the key hadn't been used to unlock the storage room, Barnes wouldn't be under suspicion in the first place. Why would he do that, knowing people would suspect him? Maybe he didn't think that far ahead. Any case, based on what we found at the scene of the crime, we can't be certain of anything just yet. We need to talk to Barnes and the other people in the mansion and hear what they have to say. Not just the people, the Pokemon too. I'll interpret for you when we talk to them. Alright, I'm counting on you, Pikachu. Okay. Now that we've got our next steps figured out, let's start interviewing everyone right away. I have no information. What do you mean begin deducing? Hey, Tim. There's something on the floor by the window. Should we check it out? Oh, another blue feather. Squawkabilly. I don't know. First thing. Chatot?
Oh.
What's all this? Pokemon feathers? Sure looks like it. They're scattered all over the floor and the window's open. Maybe a Pokemon got in or out through here. Do you think it has anything to do with this case? Look at this. One of the feathers is darker than the other. You're right. The other six are lighter shade of blue. Something about that is nagging at me. Well, if I give it out, I scattered. Do you think a Pokemon might have entered the exit through the window? Yes, I do. The window is open. Reading makes me so tired. Hey, I have a couple questions to ask. Got a moment? Don't want to waste time chatting while you're on duty, huh? Awfully stubborn, aren't you? You're even harder to talk to than Brad's Manectric. Wait, this is not Brad's Manectric? The name of this painting is Golden Sunrise, and it depicts Ho-Oh, a Pokemon that's spoken of in legends. And that it has appeared multiple times throughout Pokemon Shadows. They say it brings eternal happiness and that its wings shine with rainbow-colored light. Rainbow-colored light, huh? The painting sure is beautiful, but I'll bet the real thing's even more breathtaking. Lieutenant McMaster is currently interviewing Mr. Barnes in this room.
Excuse me?
I guess it would be too much to ask for us to join in, right? I'm afraid we can't allow even the great detective Tim to do that. Police protocol, you understand.
I
Hey you, override police protocol. I take it you've heard what Mr. Dennis has to say. I'm guessing he has told you about his butler. He's definitely not pleased that Barnes has fallen under suspicion. It sure seems that way. In my position, I'm not at liberty to share all the information we've gathered. But if there's anything I could do to help, just let me know. Share information, dickhead! At the time of the incident, what was the situation in the mansion at the time of the incident? We're still looking into that. I'm sure you'll get more direct answers by asking the witnesses themselves. He's right, we should take this one step at a time to get our own intel. I was told Barnes is the police's prime suspect. Well, the circumstantial evidence certainly seems to be pointing in his direction. He doesn't sound terribly convinced. Does anything strike you as odd? Yes, actually, I can't think of a single motive for Barnes to steal that jewel. He doesn't appear to bear any ill will toward Mr. Dennis, and he's in no trouble financially. That being said, we may uncover a motive in the course of our investigation. But for now, I can't say anything with certainty. Understood. I hear the Aurora Drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. The Aurora Drop's not just valuable, it's famous throughout the entire jewel industry. Then there must be plenty of people who'd like to get their hands on it. Could the jewel have been stolen by an intruder? I can't rule out that possibility. But based on current evidence, I'd say the likelihood of a burglary is low. Inspector Holiday, I know this has nothing to do with the current case, but you want to ask me about Harry? Yes, do the police have any new leads on my father's whereabouts? I'm sorry, Tim, but we haven't made any developments on that front. Oh, well, thanks anyway. Still don't understand it myself. Harry was working on the art case when he went missing. So it stands to reason that if you follow that thread, you'd find Harry too. But the case has been closed and we still don't have a single clue. Seriously, where did Harry disappear to? Don't be discouraged, Tim. Look at how far you've come into 2 years since you've moved to the city in search of your father. You've become such a great detective that the mayor himself recognized you with an award. You'll find Harry, I'm sure of it. And in the meantime, I'll keep offering whatever help I can. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Inspector Holiday. I have... Aha! Clefable. All ears for mansion gossip. Who is that woman, by the way? And that man? Fub. Oh, it's Clefable. Mrs. Dennis's partner. Oh, that's the wife. Can I ask you a few questions? Whoa, what gives? No need to be so rude. What's wrong? Seems like she's real suspicious of us. Maybe she's feeling sensitive about the incident here. Oh, bitch.
Yes?
Yes, indeed.
You certainly don't look like you're with the police. State your business.
The greatest detective on this earth, woman. Have some respect. Claudia. Of course she had to have the name Claudia. They're all a bunch of cunts. Every single last one with the name Claudia. I swear I have never met a Claudia. Look at the Lugia in the background. But I have never met a Claudia that is actually a good, no problems whatsoever. We're detectives. Mr. Dennis asked us to investigate the incident that occurred here. Detectives. Oh, I suppose my husband did say something about that. Your husband, that means your Claudia Dennis, Sanjeev's wife. I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind if we ask you some questions? I do mind, actually. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. The case has already been solved. The fuck is wrong with... Number one suspect right here. Don't give a fuck. She's my number one suspect. She has been sleeping with one of the staff members. The police said that Barnes is behind all this, so that matter's closed. We've heard that he's under suspicion, yes, but we can't be certain it was Barnes who committed the crime. You sound like it, just like my husband. But nothing you say will ever change the fact that Barnes is a culprit. Barnes' partner Ducklet was up to no good. I saw it with my own eyes. Ah, fuck. That is also a blue bird. Did you witness the crime? Barnes' partner Douglas was involved in the crime? You look as though you don't believe me. I don't. I truly fucking don't. Can I ask you about my dad?
Excuse me.
Is it true that you witnessed the crime? Well, I didn't exactly see it clearly. Huh? But I did witness some irrefutable proof. What exactly did you see? At the time of the incident, I was enjoying a cup of tea in my room on the second floor. Just then, I noticed a bird Pokemon flying outside the window. A bird Pokemon? Yes, I clearly saw a blue bird Pokemon. It had to have been Ducklet. There's also Squawkabilly. We did find blue feathers near the window in the storage room. So those were Ducklets. In hindsight, she was obviously stealing the jewel. I also heard a faint sound just before that, like something metallic. A metallic sound? Do you know what could have made that noise? No, I don't. But the storage room was ransacked, wasn't it? I suppose you must have broken something in the act. And I've heard it confirmed that Douglas' feathers were found in the room. Blue feathers were found in the room. Isn't that proof enough that Barnes the culprit? She's pretty darn convinced of her own theory. But it's all based on metallic sounds and the sight of a blue bird Pokemon. Pretty flimsy if you ask me. Yeah, I suspect her. I'm sorry, Mrs. Dennis, but that information alone isn't enough to definitively prove Barnes is the culprit. Then hurry up and find whoever it is and get that jewel back. Isn't that what my husband hired you for? I get she's upset, but she doesn't have to take it out on us. I told you! Claudia means cunt. Simple as that. Couldn't even make it any more simple. Why do I have to talk to her more? I don't want to talk to her more. What else do you have to say? Mrs. Dennis seems convinced that Barnes is innocent. Mister. Oh yes, I'm sure he is. He's always been too trusting. With you. Especially when it comes to Barnes. Those two really trust each other that much. I'm told Barnes has worked here for a very long time. Much longer, in fact, than I've known Sanjeev. I suppose that's why Barnes is always taking my husband's side. What do you mean by that? Whenever my husband and I have a disagreement, Barnes inevitably sides with Sanjeev. Ah, so you stole the fucking thing in order to... You stole the jewel in order for Barnes to be fired so that your husband would... your husband would not have a butler on his side. I see now. Barnes inevitably sides with Sanjeev, even though I'm sure he believes he's being impartial. That lack of self-awareness is yet another one of his many flaws. Got a feeling Claudia's not a huge fan of Barnes. Do you think that's why she's so sure he's the thief? About the Ducklet. Could you tell me more about Ducklet? Ducklet is Barnes' partner. She dots on him tirelessly and is always by his side. Wait, why did the husband say that only two people are what Growlithe trusts, the butler and himself? But why does Growlithe not trust the wife? I'm suspicious of this wife. You must heard that she might be involved in the crime somehow. Would Ducklet be capable of such a thing? Yes, she even helps Barnes out with his shopping. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? She'd certainly be capable of making off with a jewel. Well, whether or not Ducklet stole the jewel, one thing that seems certain is that she really loves Barnes.
Yes?
The Aurora Drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. Mr. Dennis told me the same thing. But do you really understand? Can you even comprehend just how valuable it is? Huh? I knew it. Just look at those blank expressions. Hey, my face always looks like this. As it is, I'm not even sure my husband understands the true value of that jewel. After getting his hands on something so precious, why would he want to donate it to Rhyme City? So you're against donating the Aurora Drop? Of course I am. The treasure like that aren't meant to be paraded around for the general public. They should be preserved for quiet observation by a select few. Hard to imagine her quietly doing anything. Ha! Good job on Pikachu. Number one suspect right there. My number one suspect is the wife. Not just because of the name. Who the fuck are you?
Hello there, Detective Tim.
And who are you?
Oh, I mean, Detective Goodman?
What's wrong with you? Larry Turner, newest staff member of the Do you have any Pokemon, good sir? Wait, you are the detective, right? That's what Mr. Dennis said, at least. The names, wait, that's not proper enough, sorry. My name is Larry Turner, and I am a member of the house staff. House staff, huh? Seems in over his head. If you need anything, just let me know. I mean, please inform me if you really don't have to be so formal with us. Oh, thanks, that's such a huge relief. I got the job a while ago, but I'm still not used to talking all fancy. Uh-oh, is that a problem? Well, it's a good thing for me that Barnes deals with all the important guests. My main duties are taking care of the Pokemon, managing the house, and groundskeeping. And I can handle all that no problem. I don't know, this guy isn't exactly filling me with confidence in his ability to do his job. Anyway, you wanted to ask about what happened, right? I mean, I already told the police everything I know. I'm really sorry for taking up more of your time. Oh, sorry. That's not what I meant to say. I'm not complaining or anything. It's just that I don't remember what happened very well. Something attacked me out of nowhere and I blacked out. Something attacked him. So, not the thief then. Okay, please tell us more about that, Mr. Turner. Oh, you were the one who was attacked? Sure, no problem. About the crime that took place. Right, so where to start? I was just doing my job like normal today. I made food for the Pokemon, did some cleaning around the mansion, all that sort of thing. I think I was tidying the garden when it happened. I saw Ducklet fly out of a second-story window. As I recall, I wondered where she was going. I mean, usually Ducklet just walks out the front door. It seems weird to me, so I went upstairs to see what's going on. That's when I saw that the door to the jewel storage room was sliced wide open. I don't believe that Ducklet has the power to be able to pull that off, by the way. To slice it open. There has to be another Pokemon involved. As if that wasn't shocking enough, the moment I went to look inside, I suddenly got punched by a Pokemon. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the sofa. Someone was treating my wounds. A Pokemon punched you? Yeah, I feel like I glimpsed a small red figure for just a moment. Small red Pokemon that can slice through things. Based on the size, it couldn't have been a human, so I am guessing it was a Pokemon. A red Pokemon. Do you know what kind it was? I'm not really sure. It all happened so fast. I see. I'm sorry if that happened to you. But I'm glad you weren't seriously hurt. That's what the doctor said too. Though Pokemon would want to steal the Aurora Drop, it's possible that the culprit considered their partner Pokemon. Wait, the culprit ordered their partner Pokemon to swipe the jewel and punch out Turner. So, Tim, now that we have heard Turner's story, what do you think? We need to find the Ducklet that flew out the window and that red Pokemon too. Yep, got it.
Excuse me?
Did you see anything else when the Pokemon attacked you? The thief who brought the Pokemon along was probably nearby. Fortunately, that's all I saw. I see. Can you think of any other details that might give us a clue about the culprit? Nothing in particular coming to mind. I mean, Mr. Dennis is such a nice person. I've never heard of anyone holding a grudge against him. I was really surprised to hear that Barnes is a suspect. You don't think Barnes is responsible? I guess the police must have some reason to suspect him, but honestly, I just can't believe it. Barnes is still showing me the ropes around here. He's a great co-worker with tons of experience. I mean, if you'd known Barnes before all this, you could never even imagine him being a thief. Alright, so we have 1 against, 2 for. Well, 2 against, 1 for him being the culprit. There you go. Do you know anything about the stolen jewel? The Aurora Drop. I've never seen the thing. It's been shut in that storage room ever since it was brought to the house. Of course, I know it's valuable and all. I assume that's what's been causing all the arguments between Mr. and Mrs. Dennis lately. What sort of arguments? In case you haven't heard, Mr. Dennis says he's going to donate the Aurora Drop. Seems like Mrs. Dennis is against that plan. They've been fighting about it almost nightly. Every night. It must really be point of contention. I guess Mrs. Dennis just doesn't want to give up such a valuable jewel. So the Aurora Drop has been driving a wedge between husband and wife, eh? Alright, now let's go in here. Because obviously I want to investigate you. It's Dennis's partner, Growlithe. She sure doesn't look happy. Apparently she feels responsible. No wonder she's so down. Maybe we should leave her alone for a while. No, we should not. We should investigate her immediately. Ask me anything you'd like. About the symbol of revival. What makes the Aurora Drop this a symbol of revival? 2 years ago, during the R incident, my jewel shop suffered considerable damage. Wait, you were a victim of the R incident? Yes, some Pokemon who'd been exposed to R went berserk. Their rampage destroyed my shop, to say nothing of the damage done to my jewels and other goods. By that time, I already had the Aurora Drop. I kept it stored safely in the shop. So was the Aurora Drop damaged too? No, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. Of all the jewels in my shop, the Aurora Drop was the only one who remained unscathed. In fact, debris fell so perfectly around the Aurora Drop that you might believe it was being protected. That's incredible. I guess there's some magic left in the world after all. You can talk to me. We can understand each other. That's the magic. Ever since then, the Aurora Drop became known as the jewel that survived the R incident. People started visiting my shop to see it. And thanks to all that attention, my business was able to get back on its feet. Sounds like a valuable jewel in more ways than one. What made you decide to bring it to your mansion instead of keeping it at your shop? I decided to donate it to Rhyme City. The Aurora Drop? But why donate something so precious to you? Not just precious to me, and that's exactly why I decided to donate it. Mayor Myers has done his part in improving our city by declaring the start of Pokemon Friendship Week. I thought it was about time I did mine, so I wanted to donate that jewel and that survived the R incident as a symbol of Rhyme City's revival. I hope that by doing so, I can help liven up not just my shop, but the whole city as well. Wow, Dennis, I'm impressed. That's a wonderful gesture. I'm glad you think so. Not everyone is so pleased about it. Oh? Forget I said anything. I shouldn't burden you with the concerns over such personal matters. For now, I'm counting on you to find the Aurora Drop as quickly as possible. His wife is not okay with it. That's basically what he's trying to say. Understood. We'll do everything we can. I most certainly will.